Hello everybody, it's car boot time. It's the hottest day of the year so far, and yeah, last night just went to bed, excuse the pheasant in the background, itching for today's car boot. I went to Coles in Wombourne, which is fabulous, and it's a traditional car boot, so it's not a farmer's market, it's not an antique show. You do get a couple of antique dealers there, but it is a lot of house clearance guys, a lot of people having a clear out, you know, of the garage or the loft. There's people that do it as a side hustle week in, week out, but it is the most traditional of car boots that you can get. It was jam-packed today with both buyers and sellers. By the time I left at about, I think, 8:30, 9 o'clock. And there was a huge queue of people waiting to get in. I had just over an hour there. I flew round because I got somewhere else to be. The car was jam-packed. I mean, absolutely, like I couldn't have fit anything else in. I got stuff stacked up, things on my lap. I spent £110 today. I didn't realise I'd spent so much. I thought I'd probably spent about 70 or 80 quid. Maybe I need to get a little bit more back into practice for haggling with people. There's a few things I didn't get down in price, but all still bargains. So loads and loads of stuff to show you. Right then, my first purchase are these gorgeous little vintage glasses. I've got hundreds of vintage glasses. I don't need any more. They were 50p each. I tried to get them both for 50p and it was a no. I paid £1. They are in beautiful condition. Yes, they need a bit of a wash, that's fine. But I thought these would be quite nice little sorbet dishes. So glasses always work really well on the dinner table if you're doing a bit of tablescaping. But yeah, so do you see? So £1 for those. And then also, I didn't go to buy glasses, but wait till I show you these. So there was this box in this bag. Everything was wrapped up, and it just goes to show you've got to have a little bit of a mooch. Don't be scared to dive in and just say, oh, is it okay if I have a look? So inside, I'll get there in a sec. Cath Kidston glasses, so they're picnic glasses, so they're actually, let me hold it against the house or against me so you can see, they're plastic, not glass, so they're outdoors. And I know the lady, I've bought from her before, so I didn't feel the need to unwrap every single one. I just said to her, how many are there, and are they all fine? And she said, yep, they're all Cath Kidston, there's a set of 8. And then I said, how much are they? She said £5. Now I think she might have probably said about 3 or 4, but she knows that I'm going to knock her down. So as soon as she said a fiver, I said, well, can I give you £4, 50p a glass? And she said yes. She would have known that I'm going to be offering at least £1 less, so I'm sure she will have got what she wanted. But yeah, those Cath Kidston glasses there I thought were lovely. They're all brand new, all wrapped up, all in the box. I thought they were a great buy, especially this time of year when everyone's out in the garden. Although I'm having a year off from drinking wine, that was a killer today because there were loads of people with little bottles of wine. Technically speaking, you shouldn't be selling those at the car boot, but one lady got a couple of bottles of white and rosé, and she said we only drink red, so every time somebody buys them for us they come to the car boot. But yeah, I'm trying to do a year off now that I've turned 50, so we'll see how I get on. I'm a week in and it's killing me already. Okay, so there was those, and then from the same lady I also bought this. She was asking £1 and I paid 50p. Wasn't entirely sure what it was to begin with. Thought maybe it's something to do with sewing. It's not as old as it looks. It's probably 1980s. It's a little earring holder, but I thought that was really, really sweet. So yeah, she wanted £1 and I paid 50p. It's absolutely beautiful, gorgeous condition, no knocks or anything. I don't suppose it's ever been used to look at it. I bought a load of vintage linens. Oh my gosh. Right, I'm going to grab those now. There's a huge pile. Let me show you. Oh. Right, when I say a huge pile, I really do mean a huge pile. So these are Dormer Vintage St Michael, so the old 1980s M&S. There's a colour roll one in there, and then there's a beautiful, my favourite one which caught my eye. It's got a very expensive looking French label on, a brand I've not heard of, but I will add it to my Instagram stories and then you can all have a good look later. But I'll quickly run through these. But to give you an idea, they were asking 50p per item and I paid £2 for everything. So I got 3 things. I said, can you do any 3 for £1? And they said, yeah, that's fine. But some of those 3 for £1, for example, if it was a duvet cover, they let me have the pillowcase with it at no extra cost. Some of the covers I have got pillowcases too, some I haven't. There's a lovely old flannelette sheet in here as well. But yeah, I'll quickly show you I mean, you'll recognise, this is my favourite, I'll show you in a sec. These patterns, a lot of you will know. I mean, you know, they're just gorgeous. And Dormer, Sanderson, all of those, they just wash so beautifully. I know this one because my parents had this when I was growing up in their room. Reversible honeysuckle pattern. Yeah, you'll know they need a boil wash, but that's all. But these are the classic Rosebud from M&S, 1980s. But yeah, my favourite, my absolute favourite, I just love it, is, oh, not that one. That was another beautiful Dormer one. Here we go. Here's this label, Yves Delorme. It's a very expensive looking label. It's not a brand I'm aware of. 100% cotton, which of course you want in this weather. Wait till you see this. I love it. I just think it's so gorgeous. So it's the same pattern on both sides. But oh my gosh. I mean, doesn't that just scream out 1980s? But just so back in fashion right now. Blue and white, I just think always looks so fresh. A little hint of a very pale lemon in there as well. But that's one of my favourite buys of the day. So that worked out at 33 pence. I mean, wow, amazing. You can't get a dishcloth, can you, for 33 pence? I bought a tennis racket for 50 pence, an old vintage one. Obviously I've got loads of bloody everything in this house, but I'm going to start, when I see these nice old rackets, I'm going to start buying them, because at 50p, we had a little sports day in the garden last weekend, and it was absolutely fantastic. But one of the things I was short on, I didn't have enough rackets, and I was like, oh, I'll get some of those when I see them. But I thought that might look quite cute hung up on a wall as well. I'm thinking about redoing the summer house, so I might have a little, you know, selection of those on the wall. I bought, oh my gosh, baskets. It's like basket heaven. If you like a basket, you're gonna love what I've bought. So this, you might have seen on my Instagram stories. I just thought it was so sweet. I actually spotted it as the basket first, didn't realise that the wheels were inside. Whether they'll be able to be fixed back on or not, I don't know. I paid £4 for it. So I was buying something else from him. What was it? Oh, a sampler. Where's that? So there's a guy, he's a dealer. He always has nice stuff. His prices aren't the cheapest. I mean, he's not expensive. Things are like, you know, generally speaking, a tenner or so. In fact, I think he was asking, yeah, he told me a tenner for this. It's a sampler. It's not mega old. It's 1930, but it is really, really nicely done. Bit of a mark on it, which of course will affect the value. But yeah, so he was asking £10. I said I'll pay a fiver for it, but that's all. And that genuinely, you know, I would have walked away had he said no. I handed over a £10 note, and as I handed over my £10 note, that's when I spotted this, and I just said, oh, I said, right, I said, how much is that? And he said, well, that can be a fiver as well. Obviously thinking he'll keep the £5 change from my 10. And I just said, I've got to do a deal on it. I said, I can't not do a deal. And I said, if you'll give me a pound change from my tenner, then yeah, I'll take that as well, please. So actually I paid £4 for that. So I'm sure if I can get it repaired, that my granddaughter will absolutely love it. I think it's probably just a case of re-screwing those wheels onto the bottom of it. And then, oh gosh, more baskets to go yet. In fact, let me show you what's in the baskets before I try and pick them up. I got this, which again, it's lovely. My house, as you can see, the house is Georgian, it's old, very old, and inside it's full of framed photographs of people that I don't know, because I always think like, oh my gosh, you know, that's obviously, I mean, look at it, I'll put it right up, can you see? I mean, look at her, it's like a, I don't know, is it a pageant or similar, or would it have been maybe for a baptism? All the details are on the bottom. I'll do a little bit of research on it. The frame, get my words out, is the original one. So the most beautiful silver frame. Was it 50 pence or was it £1? It was no more than £1. It might actually have been 50 pence. I don't think I've got the heart. I mean, I'm sure I could sell the frame for really good money, but I don't have the heart to take her out of it. You know, she was someone's beloved daughter, and this is what happens when you go to Cobbitts the way that I do. So my house is full of photos of people that I've never met, and people come round, and because the house is up for sale at the moment as well, and they'll say, oh my gosh, that's so gorgeous, you know, is that your great grandfather? And I'm like, nope, don't know who he is, I've got no idea. It's like a wall of lost souls where I've just got loads and loads of old images of strangers, but I get really attached to them, and I always think, what a shame, because they end up in the tip otherwise, and it shouldn't be that way. Okay, I'll keep talking. Baskets, I also bought That bin was 50p, really cute. Again, very 1980s style, absolutely full of dust inside. It needs a good clean, but I'll give that a wash later while the weather's good. And then I've got this one. Do you know what I think? When I come back, I always think, what was my favourite slash best buy from the day, and what is the thing that I probably shouldn't have bought? This is the thing I shouldn't have bought, and I'll tell you why. There were 3 ladies in front of it when I was buying it. He was asking £3. I offered him 2 and he said, yeah, 2's fine. So I handed my money over without looking at it, and it's only as I was walking away that I realised that actually there's a little bit of a break there on the handle. It's still usable, so it's not the end of the world, but I wouldn't feel like I could resell it because of that. It probably wouldn't be worth me reselling. So that will, I guess, be in the summer house full of a load of linens or whatever, or toys maybe for my grandchildren. So so yeah, that was a £2 basket, but the best one is yet to come, and I'll tell you the reason it's the best. This one here. Not only is it absolutely gorgeous, chunky, really good weight. I mean, look at it, it's massive, but better still, it was £1, and this is from a lady called Tracy, who does the car boots with her lovely father. She does them week in, week out. She's my favourite one to go to, and she just said, anything that's on the mat now that you want, she said £1 for anything. So needless to say, I didn't haggle. I said, right, let me see if I can get to a tenner, which I did very quickly. So that was from her, but look at that, absolute beauty. And then as we go through, I'll show you other things I had from her for £1 as well. Oops. These weren't from Tracy, but I always say to people, when you're at car boot sales, even if vintage isn't your thing, obviously clothing, you can do a whole wardrobe. You know, you could go with 20 quid and you could kit your wardrobe out, and I'm not exaggerating when I say that. And toiletries are the other thing. It's just the markup, I think, when you go to, you know, Superdrugs or Boots or what have you, or the supermarket. So there was a big basket. There always is. You always see loads of toiletries. There was a big basket full of toiletries and a sign up saying 50p each. And if it's 50p each, I always pick 3 out and say, can you do 3 for £1? And most of the time, 9 times out of 10, it will be a yes. So I got the John Frieda repairing shampoo. I only ever buy own brand. If I'm in a supermarket, I'll buy own brand and that's it. But I'm very happy buying branded when it's as cheap as this. And then I got Body Shop Tea Tree face mask. There is a little bit has been used out of it. I took the lid off, I smelt it, make sure it, you know, still fresh smelling, which it was. And then I got Body Shop chamomile eye makeup remover, so that's still full and used, and I paid £1 for those 3, so that was good. I got this. I thought that was really cute, a little bit kitsch. I'm not too sure if it's meant to be a bin or a planter. I shall resell it anyway. But that was from Tracy, that was £1. Also from Tracy were these 2, a little bit garish cake stands, but I just thought dining hall in there is huge, and at Christmas, when I've got a table like 14 people to feed on Christmas Day, anything that gives a bit of height, and you can kind of obviously put things on top, just creates more table space when there's so many people with their plates. So, you know, I could kind of have, you know, all my bottles of wine on one, condiments on the other, cakes later. But she let me have both of those for £1. That one is a little bit marked on top, it doesn't matter. But yeah, like I say, they're a bit bright, a bit gold, but yeah, 50p each. Thought they were lovely. Everything that I'm going to show you now, there was a man, I'd say he was probably in his late 70s, and he said to me they'd come from a house clearance. He didn't seem as though he'd got any personal attachment to these items, but equally he seemed like he was well into retirement and wouldn't be going out there doing a house clearance himself. So maybe it's just stuff that's being given to him from a house that's being cleared to sell. But everything, he let me have everything for 50p, and just wait till I show you what I got. I don't mean everything was 50p. I mean each item was 50p each. Things that I would have thought he'd be charging like, you know, 5-10 quid for. 50p, 50p, 50p. Look, just, yeah, look at these. So, all things that I don't need, but things that I love. So, that classic, I've got the teapot, I've got the coffee pot, I've got the little sugar pot, cottages where you lift the roof off. So that jug, gorgeous. I'm always bringing flowers in from the garden, so that'll look lovely on a windowsill. So again, keep in mind 50p. And then this, gorgeous again, little cottage cruet set, absolutely beautiful, pristine condition. This My first ever dog was an Irish setter. It's a pipe stand. It's weighed, I think. Yeah, it is. A lot of you will recognise these. 50p. Again, absolutely pristine, not a mark on it. They're out of fashion a little bit now. These are obviously pipe rests. Not that many people smoke a pipe. I'm not sure you could rest your vape in it. I mean, you could perhaps try. And then these, I thought these would make a gorgeous gift for someone, not too sure who, presumably a train enthusiast. But look at that, for 50p, they're just absolutely beautiful. I think they're gold plated. It's got a little locomotive on each of the cufflinks. And then there's the, what are they? Do you put them on your lapel or on your tie? But what a beautiful set for 50p. This, again, talking about photographs of strangers and people that I don't know, another one. I mean, the frame is just absolutely beautiful. Original frame. I am tempted actually with this one to swap the photo out because I've got a beautiful photo of my grandma from around the same time, which deserves a lovely frame. But yeah, so let me put the fella and his dog. But yeah, I mean, gosh, if it was my relative, I just wouldn't be able to let it go. So 50p for that. This I love. Look at that. Adam the gardener. And inside it's just full of what you should be doing month by month. So there we are, I was looking at that earlier, the 4th week of April, or we're going into May now, aren't we? Yeah, it just takes you all through the seasons. There's even little maps, if you like, instructions on how you can lay out your garden. My favourite one being, where's the one with the vegetable plot? That's it, that one there with the kitchen garden. Oh my God, if I could turn half my garden over to a kitchen garden and be able to keep on top of it and keep the wildlife out, that would just be a dream. I got these two, nothing vintagey at all. They're £1 each and I offered £1.50 for both because these will last me about 5 years. I've got all sorts of colours in the cupboard. When I'm doing wrapping a present, I like to do it nicely and put lots and lots of ribbons and bows on. So that's the reason that I bought those. And then I bought this, the ribbons in there. I paid 50p for that. Again, this is to resell. You'll remember these, anybody who's as old as me, from the 1980s. These go, believe it or not, for around about £25–30. Really back in fashion at the minute. People are loving the 1980s and everyone's loving canary yellow as well, so that's good. I got this for my granddaughter, who's not yet 2 and doesn't have a bike. So this is going to be put in a cupboard for the next however many years. But a little paneer, no, that's Indian cheese, isn't it? Paneer, how do you say it? A little basket to go on her bike. So obviously it hasn't been used, but also it's got the little bell inside, which, how cute is that? So yeah, working bell, she says. There we go. And ribbons for the handlebars, and then all sorts of little decorations or stickers, I think they are, which she loves a sticker to go on the bike. So that was £2. Tried to get it down to £1.50 and she quite rightly said absolutely not, and I don't blame her. I got also from Tracy this is Grimswade. This is probably 1930s Bar Black Sheep. If I still had my dog, this would be my dog's bowl because it's so beautiful. But yeah, this will go on the dresser. I don't think I'm going to sell it. I just think it's so cute. But yeah, £1 for that. And then also from Tracy, this, which I'm going to plant it with some chives, just a modern galvanised effect watering can. I did say I was going to stop buying these because within a year they're all rusted and need to be thrown out, but I thought this was cute. And then obviously because the weather's good, I'm thinking about gardening. I got this from her, which I've got to get that fixed back in. Nice little bit of stoneware there. Spirit jar, that was £1. I got a plant pot from another lady. I offered her 50p and she said no, and she probably should have taken 50p because it's a bit filthy inside and needs a good scrub. It's got something sticky in there. I don't know if it's like, I don't know, some plant food which has gone a bit bleh. But and I walked away and I just thought, oh no, I'm not paying more than 50p. And then I got halfway down the aisle and I thought, no, I am, because it's a lovely shape and it's a beautiful shade of pink. I love the colour pink and I want to get more house plants in the house. I just think they look lovely and they're good for you, aren't they? So yeah, so I went back and said, right, I'm being silly, yeah, I'll pay you £1. Thank you very much. So that was good. This was £1. Now please mention in the comments what you think it is, because neither the lady that sold it to me or myself are entirely sure. I didn't know if perhaps it was to store garlic in because of the holes in the lid, or is it, do you put it in your kitchen and put your tea bags and your potato peelings and your things that you're going to compost in there? I don't know. She's asking £3, and then when I opened it I realised that there was a little, I don't know if you can see, there's a little knock to it there, so I said, oh, I'll leave that, thank you. And I genuinely meant that I'd leave it. And she said, well, is it any good to you for two? And I said, no. I said, I'd pay £1 for it, but it's no problem if you want to keep it. And she said, no, it's fine, I want everything gone. So I got that for £1. I thought, quite nice, it looked quite nice in the kitchen. I bought, for my granddaughter, I bought these. I made a vow years ago that I'd never ever wear Crocs, and I've stuck to that so far, and yet here I am buying them for my granddaughter. So I got those ones, the pink ones. These also pink with the little badges on, need to go in the washing machine. They're a bit grubby, but they should wash up fine. She's loving Peppa Pig, she's that age right now. And then some Hey Dougie wellies, which should fit her soon enough. They're quite cute. Again, £50 50 pence each, and I offered £1 for the 3, and that was an absolute yes straight away. I bought some laundry detergent, not hugely interesting, but again, just to show the point, that was £2 for 28 washes, so £2. I'm sure it'll be at least double that in the shops. I've got a bag full of toiletries here. I've actually forgotten what I've bought, but these were 50 pence each, and I think I spent £4. But to give you an example, it was things like the old-fashioned, not old-fashioned, it's a new one, but do you remember the Orange Rights, what was it called? I've forgotten, but the soaps, and it smells lovely, smells just like that, so that takes me back. So I got a couple of those. I got a couple of these, Child's Farm, again from my grandchildren. This is such a lovely brand, but it's so blooming expensive. These are like £6 or £7 each. That's Sleep Mist in lavender flavour, so I got a few of those. Might keep one for me. Got a couple of deodorants, and I've got some lovely William Morris soaps. I think I got 3 of those, so he let me have 2 for 50 pence, and the third one I said, oh, can I take that one as well? And he said, yeah, that's fine. So I got the third one for free. Oh, and this, the pump's missing. Not a problem, I'm sure there'll be one in the cupboard that I can put on there. Umberto Giannini, I used to model for him back in the day. Gosh, he's been gone, probably, he passed away about, oh my God, 30 years ago. So that's showing you how long ago that was. But yeah, when he was just launching his brand, I was one of his models. So that is Grow Long and Smooth Wonder Blow Dry Spray, 50p. Again, I don't know how much it would be, but I guess somewhere between £5 and £10 in store. I got this. That's a pheasant kit squawking. I thought this was so lovely, little inlaid box. And then when I opened it up, do it the right way, it's a cute little jewellery box, and I thought, will it work or won't it? And I said, oh, do you mind if I see if it works? I'm just going to do it a little bit because it won't stop. In fact, I need to do a bit more, don't I? But the point being that it does work, and he was asking £1 for it, and I said, can I offer you 50 pence? Thinking there's no way, especially now I've just shown him that it's working, that he's going to say yes to 50p. But he did. But I thought that was really quite classic, quite beautiful. Right, another couple of things, give me 2 ticks. That's not going to stop now, is it, in the background? Retro soup dishes. I got the 4 for £1 from the same house clearance people that I bought all the bedding from. I did try it on and say, will you take 50 pence? And he said, no, it's got to be £1. But £1 for 4, 25p each. Brilliant. They're all perfect, not chipped. Love these. Love making soup, as you'll know. And then 2 of these cushions. I've got to stop buying cushions. I'm overrun with cushions, but they were £1 each, again from Tracy. So this is, I said I spent a tenner with her and just said, right, let's get to £10. I'll have that. So these are all things that were £1 off the mat. So there's 2 of those beautiful, massive plump cushions. I got this, which was £2, a really nice old cast iron doorstop, and it's a topiary tree. And actually, yeah, I'm stood in the topiary garden at the moment. I like a little bit of topiary. I think it's quite, I've got the country house, so it's quite in keeping, isn't it? So yeah, that was £2. Oh gosh, something else which was a great buy. Bear with me. Wait till you see these. I was specifically asked by one of my daughters could I look out for, she's got a lovely Denby mug, and she said, can you keep an eye out for Denby mugs for me, please, Mum? Now, these are actually going to go away for Christmas because there's 3 of them, so it'll be a stocking filler each. So let's hope they don't watch this. But Le Creuset, absolutely perfect. There was one out, and I said to the lady, she got lots of random branded new stuff. So I said, oh, how much is the mug, please? I thought it's going to be at least 4 or 5 quid, surely. And she said, oh, it's £1. To which I said, that's lovely. Do you have any more? I'd quite like a set. And she said, I have, yeah. And she went off mooching through the car, couldn't find them. She said, oh, I've got 2 more. It's a shame there wasn't half a dozen. But anyway, so I got those 3 there. And I said, can I pay you £2 for the 3? Yes, no problem, she said. I mean, 3 of those mugs, all absolutely pristine, with the labels on, for £2. This is what I'm talking about, you know, just don't go shopping. You never know what you're going to get at the car boot sale. But, and yeah, you do get a lot of rubbish there. But one man's trash is another man's treasure. And there's some absolute gems of brands there that can be found. I bought this, not overly exciting, a 1980s door knocker, but a really, really lovely weight. It won't be going on my door. I'll be reselling that, but there'll be a bit of profit in that. Clothes-wise, now, I should say I tried really hard to I didn't even look at clothes, but there were just a couple of things that I couldn't help. I just couldn't get my blinkers on and walk by, because I've just got more clothes than I know what to do with. But because the sun is shining and thinking ahead, we're off to Barbados soon, so bikini wise, I got these. There was a lady, she got a big, kind of like a big massive cardboard box, and it was just full of bikinis and underwear, all new, some with the tags, some without, you know, and it's just got the plastic bit left, but the paper bit's been pulled off. And the sets were £1, and the individual items, if it was just a bra with no matching knickers, they were 50p. So bikini wise, I bought 3 bikinis. That one, I think that was New Look. So yeah, a new one from New Look, and that was £1. I bought this one. Again, that's New Look, nice electric blue bikini, £1. I've got another one on, which I won't show you, but it's the next one. It's gorgeous, £1. And then I bought this sexy little, don't know if I'll get into it, but this cute little body, 50p. And then this, again, all new, Body Shop bra. No, not Body Shop, Ann Summers bra. And I was rummaging through to see if I could find the knickers to match, but I couldn't. But yeah, my size, and 50p. I mean, brilliant. Very, very pleased. Sticking with the sexy theme, I also got a pair of Hold'ems. 50p. What brand are they? Jasper Conran. Yeah, it'll be someone's lucky night. My husband's, I should say. Lakeland. I love Lakeland as a brand. It's expensive. I can't bake to save myself. However, Lakeland Cameo cookie cutters. I mean, will I use them? I don't know, but they were 50p, so I just couldn't walk away from them. But look how cute they are. That pack there. And then, oh, this. Oh, there's a whole load of stuff in the wheelbarrow that I need to show you. I had to literally wheelbarrow everything up from the car because there was so much there. So again, another toiletry. That jewellery box keeps going off. Can you hear it in the background starting to play itself? Probably the heat. That's another one of my toiletries from my 3 for £1. So that's, again, brand new, hasn't been used. Summer Glow. Where am I going next? Clothes. Let me show you clothes very quickly. So these are for my little baby grandson. He's going on holiday in August, and these are the reusable swimming nappies and one of these UV caps. That was £1 for the 3. They were 50p each, but I offered £1 for the 3. I bought this coat for £1. Nothing amazing. I think it's just, is it Primark? Yeah, it's just a Primark one. But these are quite handy, especially if you're going car booting very early in the morning when there's still a little bit of a chill in the air. And then she gave me that one for free. She said, oh, we can have it. There's a bit of a mark on it. So that's two nice, lightly quilted coats. And then another little coat here, age 2 to 3 for my granddaughter. It's only Primark, but I really like the pattern. I thought that was quite sweet. 50p for that. I got a shirt for my daughter, my eldest daughter. This is very Mia. She loves a blue and white cotton shirt. It's a size 16, but she's breastfeeding at the moment, so I thought that'd be quite handy that it's nice and loose. It looks nicer in real life than it looks as I'm holding it up now, but 100% cotton, so great for this weather. I got this blanket for 50p. It's massive and there's so much work gone into it. I'm trying not to tread on and break everything. This, look, it's ginormous. Look, do you like it? 50p for that blanket. I think it's lovely. Don't know where it's going to go. Probably again over a chair in the summer house perhaps. It is quite a large summer house, so just as well with how much stuff I've got to fit in. Right, the things in the wheelbarrow, I'll need to do a separate video to show you because there's such lovely stuff in here. But just to give you an idea, so these were 50p each. Again, most of them I got 3 for £1. It's from the same man that I mentioned earlier who's doing the vintage ceramics for 50p. So then I got to these. I said, oh my gosh, I love these old magazines. And he said, oh, there's some naughty ones in there. And I was like, oh, let me have a look. Because naughty by like old-fashioned standards is what you'd see, you know, young girls dressed like on a Friday night, you know, a little bit racy, a little bit saucy, good for them. But yeah. Absolute mountains. I'm going to have to do a separate video when I've got time to show you. So lots of you vintage lovers will know Picture Post. So I got a collection of those and I think there was 4 or 5 in there and I paid £1 for those 5. He said I'll keep those as they are. Then on the 3 for £1 was things like the children's Christmas Carol book and then popular handicrafts. I love that. I want to learn how to make lampshades. That's really fashionable at the moment, so hopefully this will help out. And then an old Peter Pan program. I just love looking at them. So these, a Charlie Chaplin one, and a score sheet on the back. This, even though there's half a dozen in there, they were still part of my 3 for £1. These are the naughty ones. It's nothing too rude, I promise. So yeah, men, I need a different man every night. Oh, I'll check you. Nymphomaniacs are taking over America. Gosh, Donald Trump would like that, wouldn't he? But yeah, these are, what's the year, does it say? I'm going to guess the 1970s. But yeah, just some pretty girls with their boobs on show. That's about as naughty as it gets. And these, I mean, look at this. I think this is so classy. It's lovely, isn't it? So we got 3 of those for £1. And then I got, oh yeah, love this, love. Just some old handwritten letters. I got a programme from the King and Queen's coronation. That's George VI. Hopefully that's worth a little bit of something. That was in the 3 for £1. There was more. I left loads behind as well because it's just like, how much stuff do you buy? I buy everything, but I just picked out my favourites. And then I think I'd spent a £5 with him on all the 50p bits, and then I was like, right, let me get a £5's worth. And when I got to a £5, I was like, right, okay, I need to stop now. This is a scrapbook. Do people keep scrapbooks anymore? I'm not entirely sure that they do, but it's the scrapbook and it's just full of film stars. And look at how gorgeous they are. I've just been actually doing I won't say a refurb for a pub, but I've been doing the restyling of a pub, a local pub, where they'd wanted, you know, they needed some guidance on what to put where and wanted certain things, had got a theme going. So this hopefully is going to help them out with the theme for their toilets. So a lot of these can be reframed. It's got the old smell to it as well. Again, vintage lovers, you'll know when you open old paper, there's just a smell to it. It reminds me of going into my cupboards at my grandma's house, and it just takes me right back. Right, I'm talking really quick because there has been so much stuff to get through. I'm just quickly scanning to see if there's anything that I have missed. Oh yeah, there is. Hang on, stay there. I'll post on Instagram stories the size of the bag. Or I'll try and pick it up, it's really heavy, but is it, yeah, the midwinter. So there's probably, I've yet to empty it out, but there's, I'm guessing, about 30-40 pieces from tureens, dishes, cups, mugs, plates, bowls, all the rest of it. and that was a tenner for everything. And that was from the lady that I know, Tracy. She said, do you want all of this? She said, I paid a tenner for it, you can have a tenner for it, you can have it for a tenner. And I said, to be honest with you, I said, I don't, it's just hell. Selling all of this stuff is just hell, because everybody wants it for next to nothing, although something like that is around about 12 to 15 pounds, so there is profit to be made. But it's the packaging up. It takes you a day, because I'm so meticulous with my packaging and wrapping. So wrapping each item up, putting it in a box, and then just hoping for the best with couriers who seem to, you know, like I wonder, do they play football with some of these parcels, just sort of launch it at people's houses. I've seen on our Ring camera here, like, you know, parcels literally getting thrown down. Very annoying. However, I mean, it was 10 quid, so I couldn't say no. I'll regret it when I'm sitting listing it all and then packaging it all up. But let me see if I can hold the bag up to show you just how much there is. I mean, it's like coffee pots through its sets. Oh my gosh, it's so heavy. But yeah, that is, oh my god, I need to put it down. I'm going to up my estimate. I'm going to say there's about 40 to 50 pieces in there. I think I've shown you everything. So we're on Wednesday today. I'm going to go back carb eating on Saturday, Sunday and Bank Holiday Monday. So this whole section of garden is full. I now need to get cracking on cleaning things and washing things and seeing what I'm keeping and seeing what's being resold. But please join me again at the weekend. I love showing you what I've got. I really hope, especially obviously, you know, there's not loads of money around, is there? And everything is so damn expensive. So I really hope that instead of people thinking, oh gosh, I wouldn't be seeing a car boot, oh no, I wouldn't do that. Well, if I can do it, you can do it. I mean, gosh, there's no shame in it. Just remember your manners, be nice to everybody that you speak to, offer somebody a price. If they don't want to accept and you don't want to pay it, just say no thank you and walk away. Don't do what some people do and throw it down in frustration. And if there's a deal to be struck, I mean, I'd say at least 50% of the time, sometimes 9 times out of 10, you'll offer a price, as long as you're not totally taking the mickey, and as long as you say, please, would you take? If they want to take it and they just want rid, then as I've shown you today, you can come away with so much stuff for 50 pence or £1. And it keeps it out of landfill. It puts money back in people's pockets, and there's so many beautiful treasures here that it would just be a tragedy. I always think, like, oh my gosh, how can people get rid of that? But of course people do get rid of things, because people pass away and then all their items are left behind, and people don't always have family to leave it to, and it ends up at a car boot sale. And then I come along and I buy it, and I treasure it. And if it's not for me, then I'll sell it, and I will make enough money from selling it to pay my fuel, to pay my time, to get me back over there and to get the next lot of stuff in. But I can't recommend enough getting yourself down to car boot sales. But please, if you've liked what you've seen, what do they say? Follow and subscribe. See, I'm not very professional, am I? But yeah, look again. And what did I ask people to mention in the comments? Oh, if anybody knows if it's a compost bin or what have you, or if it's to put, I don't know, your garlic in, please will you let me know. Alrighty, nice to be back showing and sharing with you all. Lots of love, bye.